So there was a great UFC fight card this week in Salt Lake City. And, as I'm watching it, Gronk, UFC and the Gronks, he's got all his buddies and they're talking about it. And they rope in Dana White for an interview, right? And, Gronk's talking football. He's starting to ask questions to Dana White. And suddenly, Dana White starts telling a story about Tom Brady that was rumored. I never bought into the rumor. I'm like, that can't be true. Apparently it was true. Brady was almost a Raider. By the way, Gronk said to Dana White, that's exactly what happened. This was talked about. I didn't buy it. Raiders? Brady? Wow. That division? So my two takeaways from that. Number one, Tom Brady dodged the bullet. Gruden was a mess. The O-line's still shaky outside of left tackle. The division's gotten only better. And the AFC, no. That Brady-Belichick divorce is totally different today if Tom goes to the Raiders. Because neither one of them has a Super Bowl. Neither one has a Super Bowl. So sometimes getting turned down has its advantages. So that's my first. My second takeaway is we've got now multiple moments in Tom Brady's career where we see the behind-the-scenes Tom, and it is totally different than the in front of the camera Tom. The public Tom is nice guy, politically correct, emotionally disciplined. He's fun on social media. He falls on the sword for the team. He's just, he's just nicest guy in the world. The behind-the-scenes Tom is cutthroat. He's taking shots at Peyton Manning on his cell phone. Remember that? During Deflategate. He got Bruce Arians reassigned. He's working on a deal with the Dolphins when he's a member of the New England Patriots. According to this story, he's dog-cussing nice guy Derek Carr. There are two Tom Bradys. They're the public Tom, who's Mr. Dad, Mr. Brand, clean cut, very wholesome. And the private one, it's football CEO Tommy, and he is intense, and he is bottom line, and if you get in the way, you'll be reassigned. And I don't have a problem necessarily with it because I think everybody needs a release. Nobody's as good as their reputation. Every politician has a huge PR team. It's all a bunch of nonsense. And the fact is, Brady is a nice guy, but when it comes to business, he's not always the public Tom. He can be a shark. He's a killer. He's out there trying to get stuff done. And as a player and as a business guy, it's all about prep. It's all about being steps ahead. He's still a Patriot. He's looking at the Dolphins. He's in Tampa. The story comes out. He's looking for ownership with the Dolphins. He's looking at the Raiders moving to Vegas. He's engineering deals 2 or 3 years before everybody knows he's engineering deals. So there are two different Toms. Dana White unveiled the story. I think it's a riot. I'm still absolutely shocked. When the story came out, my takeaway was, why would he go to the Raiders? They just moved. They got a quarterback. It's kind of a mess the last 15 years. But Tom apparently was on the precipice of getting that deal done. For the record, Gruden defended Derek Carr. Gruden publicly defended him. So Gruden privately apparently also defended Derek Carr. The players are voting. So grain of salt here. Take it with a grain of salt. Players are voting on the top 100 players in the NFL. So the part that's interesting is where are they putting the quarterbacks? In the players' eyes, here's how they view the quarterbacks. And I said this last week. Players just don't like Russell Wilson. They think he's corny and kind of fakey. So they have Kirk Cousins for our radio audience at 99. Mac Jones at 85. If you gave me a start today, I'd take Kirk over Mac. Derek Carr at 65 feels low. Russell Wilson at 61. Dak Prescott significantly higher at 44 than Russell Wilson. Don't buy it. I mean, I like Lamar Jackson, but Russell Wilson 61, Lamar Jackson 36. Lamar Jackson won a playoff game. Won his whole career. Give me a break. But again, this is voted on by players. Players love Cam Newton. Players don't like Russell Wilson. A lot think he's inauthentic. So this is one of these stories that just needs time for the truth to come out. Remember when Shaq and Kobe split up? Because Shaq was more likable and funnier, everybody was like, yeah, Lakers made a huge mistake letting go of Shaq. Shaq won a title in Miami 2 years later. After that, down. 6 years later, 5 years later, Kobe was still top of the league. Lakers made the right decision. The more committed, the younger, the healthier Kobe Bryant was the right decision. But they had to eat a dirt sandwich for a year because Shaq won year 2 in Miami. But it was the right decision long-term for the organization. Lakers made the right move. Just takes time for it to come out. Same thing with KD and Westbrook. Took a while for the truth to come out. KD goes to Golden State, and KD's winning a bunch of games. And then Westbrook wins the MVP, and everybody's like, man, KD should have never left him. And then a couple years later, you're like, Westbrook's a disaster. Westbrook's a disaster. KD is unbelievable. It just takes a while for the truth to come out. Belichick and Brady. For years and years, I heard it was 70-30 Belichick. It was split. Now we know it's about 75-25, 70-30 Brady over Belichick. We figured it out by February of that year. It takes a while for the story and the truth to come out. Of course you kept Kobe. He was more committed. He was younger. He had fewer injuries. He had a longer tarmac. Of course Kevin Durant was going to struggle with Westbrook. Westbrook plays in a tunnel. Can't shoot. Got to be able to shoot going forward to the NBA. And of course, the quarterback's more valuable than even a really good coach. So the truth will come out on Russell Wilson and Seattle. And it will be October 23rd. Because I looked it up this morning. The Seattle Seahawks are either going to be 1-6, 0-7, or 2-5 by October 23rd. Because they face Russell Wilson. They're at San Francisco, at Detroit, at New Orleans, Arizona, and at the Chargers. They're going to win that Atlanta game. They're going to lose a lot of games with Geno Smith or Drew Lock. They're going to lose a lot of games. And conversely, when you look at Denver, they get Houston at home and the Jets at home by October 23rd, and they get the Colts and their kind of lack of pop offensively at home, and they get to go play the Seahawks. And so Denver by October 23rd is going to be 6-1 or 7-0. Maybe they lose at Las Vegas or against the Niners. But this is one of those where by late October, we're all going to be saying the same thing. How did Seattle, regardless of what they got back in return, let go of Russell Wilson? And remember this, and this is key. Russell Wilson was one of only 6 or 7 players in the league who had that veto vote. So Russell Wilson gave them like 2 teams he wanted to go to. So Seattle did not get the most they could get out of Russell Wilson. It's one of these things where, you could trade him anywhere. That was not the case. Seattle wanted him out of the NFC. Russell wanted to go to Denver because they looked a lot like the Rams where Stafford entered and the Bucs where Tom entered. Receivers, some pass rushers, offensive coach. So just going to take a while. It's going to take a while for the truth to come out, but mark it down, J-Mac. October 23rd, we're all going to look up and go, Russell's the 61st best player in the league. Okay. All right, 61st best player in the league. He's somewhere in the top 20, folks, maybe in the top 10. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.